September the 24th, 2000, at Spa in Belgium, and second place is enough to crown Antônio Pizzonia from Brazil, the British Formula 3 champion, the 9th Brazilian to claim the title since Emerson Fittipaldi first won in 1969. Hello and welcome to Silverstone for the last round of the Green Flag British Formula 3 Series. Now Antônio Pizzonia is already crowned as champion and joins a long and illustrious list of Brazilian Formula 3 champions. So, how has he done it, and how worthy a champion will he be? Martin Haven looks back over the season.
Antônio Pizzonia started the year as firm title favourite, but over the first 5 races he was neck and neck with South African Tomas Scheckter. 2 wins, 2 second places and 2 fastest laps apiece. But when Pizzonia damaged his front wing at Donington, Scheckter failed to finish after clashing with Matt Davis, and it was at this point that Scheckter's challenge faltered. The next 4 races saw him take only 26 points, including another failure at Donington when he also lost his front wing. In the same period, Pizzonia scored 69 points, including 2 more wins, to open up a daunting 45-point advantage. He then made a rare error at Croft, sliding at the chicane and spinning down the field to post his first 0 of the season. But in the next 2 races, he came home first and second, including another 1-2 with Scheckter at Snetterton. It meant at Spa he only had to finish ahead of Thomas to win the title. He qualified 3rd to his rival's 9th, and the battle looked to be won. Takuma Sato was on pole for the 5th time, but lost his place when the gearbox jammed on the green flag lap. Then Thiago Monteiro, a Portuguese guest from the French series, led from lights to flag from the front row. He wasn't eligible to score points though, so when Pizzonia resisted fierce pressure from Narain, Karthikeyan and Ben Collins to come second, the Brazilian's title was confirmed.
So what are we to make of this shy young man from the Amazonian jungle, and where is he likely to be placed in the Brazilian Hall of Fame?
Of course, when I started to race, there was only Senna racing, so of course he was my hero, and unfortunately he's not here anymore, but so I'm trying to do my best and learn as much as possible to maybe one day be there as well.
The guy is ultimately very, very well talented. He has wonderful car control and he's able to get the time out of it in qualifying. He is by far the best driver in the field here this year and deserves to go on to much better things. We know that a lot of Formula 1 teams are looking at him at present, and I wish him all the best in the future.
He's a great driver. He's beaten me this year fair and square. I wish him all the luck in the future.
I'll be testing Formula 3000 soon, and hopefully I'll be able to test Formula 1 as well in December. But after that, I think we'll see what's going to happen in all the tests, and after that we're going to have to make a decision. I come from Amazon, and everybody calls me Jungle Boy, not only in England but in Brazil as well. I like that. I come from the jungle and I love my city and where I'm from, and of course I miss a lot, but like I said, I'm here to race and I have to concentrate in my career.
4 of the last 5 British Formula 3 champions have been British, but this year the best the locals can manage is 7th for Michael Bentwood and 8th for Ben Collins. So why are British drivers not getting the best drives?
Formula 3 is very expensive at this level, so it's very hard for the British drivers to get the funds together to actually do it. And the foreign drivers seem to be able to find the budgets easier, so there's more of them. We're a bit outnumbered.
We seem to be finding it very difficult to find big companies to sponsor us. We're very fortunate here with having Jackie behind us pushing these companies, and we have a huge amount of corporate sponsors from Scotland, and that's been wonderful over the past years.
Well, Michael, first of all, let me congratulate you. You are, in fact, the top-placed British driver. However, you are still 7th in the championship, as we stand at present. What's happening to all the other British drivers out there?
Well, I don't know. There's 8 of us. We're all good drivers. It's just very tough, really. You know, all the teams very close.
I've had a lot of bad luck sort of during the rest of the season. I think we'd have actually had more results than that. But outside Britain, we also had second in the Marlborough Masters, which is like a world championship race, which is very good. It's very hard to speak about the other drivers, what they've been up to, but they've been fairly inconsistent.
There's not a lot of support at the moment from sort of Britain to support their drivers. It's getting better. The BRDC getting much better at it, and they've done a lot of work this year, and will do next year, I think. But a lot of the foreign drivers get a lot of support from the countries themselves, so that's where they get the big budgets from.
And where will all these young lions end up next year? Antônio Pizzonia may be on his way to Formula 1, but what can we expect from everybody else? Many congratulations, you have now signed as Jaguar test driver.
Thank you.
Now, apart from that, obviously that is just a test contract. What are you going to be doing next year?
Well, I'm not sure yet. I have to look at my options and I have to see what's best for me. Maybe some 3000, maybe some Formula Nissan. Maybe I'll mix it up a little bit.
Well, I definitely won't be doing Formula 3. I'm hoping that I'll have a test in the next few weeks in a European 3000 car, just to prepare me, you know, for the next stage.
And next year I want racing again Formula 3 with the top team. I don't know where, but I'm very pleased.
Well, I think I'll attend another year of Formula 3. Can't reveal my plans yet, but I'm already talking to another team, and hopefully I can put in all the good effort what I've been learned this year from this team.
I don't know at the moment. Well, probably Formula 3 again or Formula 3000. I don't know.
Well, the plans are to move into Formula 3 Championship class next year. Who with, I don't know yet. We've been talking to people and we've got a few tests lined up, but as yet we've got nothing definite.
I think, well, trying to move up to Formula 3000, or you know, possibly doing, you know, go back to America and try and get into champ cars. And there's also a possibility could go to Japan to race Formula Nippon 3000 in Japan.
For the final Formula 3 round here at Silverstone, the drivers get the opportunity to race on the Grand Prix circuit. I'm standing here at Beckett's. This is where the circuits diverge. Beckett's is a very important series of corners. Very fast into it, but the last right-hander is crucial. If you're slow out of this series of corners, then you're going to be eaten down the straight by all your other competitors. You need to be quick down to that right-hander at Stowe. Out of Stowe, down through the dip, into the slowest left-hander on the circuit. Very, very important to attack this right-hander and be very quick out of it.
Well, thanks, Mike, for those key points that we need to look out for. Now let's join Martin O'Connell for a complete lap of the Grand Prix circuit.
Here we are on board with Tim Spouge at Silverstone Grand Prix Circuit. Exiting Luffield in 3rd gear, on the throttle hard. A little bit of oversteer there. 3rd into 4th, into 5th, across the start-finish line, 135 miles an hour. Approaching Copse Corner, which is taken in 5th gear with just a lift on the throttle, approaching at 145 miles an hour. Just a lift down to about 130. Exiting the corner, fighting a little bit of oversteer there. Now going down the straight towards Maggots Curve and Beckett's. Both parts taken, first part's taken flat in 5th gear. A lift for the left down to 4th gear, clipping the curve a little bit. Stab on the throttle, little lift. Again, fighting the car a bit on the exit of Beckett's. Trying to get a reasonable run down, hanger straight towards Stowe. Settling down now, just down the straight in 5th gear. Top speed here is about 145 miles an hour. Very quick corner at the end, taken with just a dab on the brake, down to 4th. Again, fighting the car. Exited the corner in 4th gear, quickly into 5th on the approach to Vale. Vale's taken in 2nd gear, the slowest corner on the track, down to 2nd, over the curve, up to 3rd for Club. Fighting the oversteer, 3rd, into 4th. As you exit the corner, just on the edge of the curve, taking 5th gear, approaching Abbey now, only about 135 miles an hour, down to 3rd gear for Abbey, which is about 70 miles an hour, using all the curb on the left, 3rd into 4th gear now, approaching Bridge Corner, which is taken flat out in 5th gear, 125 miles an hour, down to 4th for Priaulx, very difficult corner, using all the curb on the inside, short dab on the throttle, then down to 2nd for Brooklands, again using all the curb on the left, trying to get on the throttle, up to 3rd before Luffield, taking a very late apex to hopefully get a good exit on the throttle nice and hard, out of the corner, in third, up into fourth, up into fifth, across the start finish, and hopefully to produce a good lap at Silverstone.
So far this season, Takuma Sato has out-qualified Antônio Pizzonia 5 poles to 4. Will Antonio be able to catch up in this really wet qualifying session? Find out with Martin Haven.
Hours of heavy rain left the circuit flooded and the drivers struggling to find an effective setup for the conditions. Marcos Ambrose wanted to raise the ride height of his car.
It's just, we've got to get the car up, you know.
Okay, so we'll go a full turn here and a full turn in the back. Okay. Yeah.
The champion was always near the front, but looked unlikely to match Sato's 5 pole positions. For a lot of drivers, keeping the car on the track was an achievement. Jimmy Bruni here sliding wildly on his way to a disappointing 11th. Some people, though, are known as wet weather specialists. Narain Karthikeyan revels in these sort of conditions. He'd have liked much more of it during the season.
Yeah, the car's brilliant in the wet here, and I drive well in the wet as well, so yeah, it's okay.
Takuma Sato was another to go well in the wet, topping the charts for most of the sessions. The 6th pole looked on the cards. His teammate Ben Collins was less than happy, though. An off early in the morning meant a lot of gravel to get out of the works and less time in the afternoon to find a good setup. Ben qualified back in 13th. The battle to be top Britain was between the Renault drivers. Matt Davis briefly went fastest, but Andy Priaulx was quicker than him in both sessions despite the odd mistake. In fact, he was quickest of all for much of the second session. Then Sato went top, and Graham Priaulx could only watch anxiously as his son battled to regain pole, which he managed with a minute to go for Renault's first pole of the year, only the second for a British driver.
Okay, Andy, many congratulations. First pole, how does it feel?
Oh, it's a tremendous feeling. I mean, it's a lot of hard work all year. We've had a lot of poor results, and obviously it's nice to end the season on a high.
Sato had to be content with second place then behind Priaulx. Davis next up ahead of Karthikeyan and Pizzonia. Wesley Barber doing well to take 6th. And in the scholarship class, Gary Paffett signed off with his 13th pole out of 14 attempts, nearly 5 seconds ahead of Julian Westwood.
So this is it, the last race of the season, and everyone wants to go out on a high. Many of the drivers haven't sorted their plans out for next year, so this is the best opportunity they're going to have to prove what they can do. Find out after the break who makes the big impressions. Welcome back to the Green Flag British Formula 3 Championship from Silverstone. The last round, race 14, is about to begin, so we'll go join Martin Haven.
Well, after the dreadful rain of qualifying, 12,000 spectators basking in autumn sunshine for Sunday's race. Matt Davis ready to start in third, his teammate Andy Priaulx on pole ahead of him, and Takuma Sato on the right-hand side of the track, closer to the pit wall. The revs rise to a crescendo, away they go. Sato gets a quick start, but look, both Renaults aiming for the pit wall, and Priaulx nearly squeezes Sato into the barriers, but the Japanese gets ahead. And there's Narain Karthikeyan cutting across Matt Davis' nose. Teammate Scheckter going around the outside of Pizzonia, behind him Marcos Ambrose in the gravel. Will he hold it together? He should do. It's very densely packed when it's wet, and Julian Westwood's engine stalls on the grid. He gets away stone last from second in the scholarship class. Sato, Priaulx, and then Karthikeyan with Davis right behind him. Second white car is Scheckter, 5th from 9th on the grid as Pizzonia goes inside Andrew Kirkcaldy. Kirkcaldy started 7th. Wesley Barber losing a place there to Jimmy Bruni as they head down into the Vale. Leaders are on their way out, Sato and Priaulx, and Wesley Barber down the inside into the slow left-hander. Gets his place back, or does he? Yes, he does. Takes the apex on the exit, and this is the fast run now down towards Abbey. We saw Marcos Ambrose go off earlier. He's dropped down from 8th to 16th place, still running there just ahead of Pavlovich, Sato and Priaulx. And then Karthikeyan and Davis. And Tomas Scheckter out on his own in 5th place as Pizzonia moves up to 6th position. And here he is coming through bridge down into the first left-hander. This is Priaulx. Quick spurt of acceleration and then braking hard again, down another gear into Brooklands, and still no chance to pass here. Riding with Marcos Ambrose in the midfield. Now he gets a good move down the inside of Gary Paffett there. Left is braking desperately late. You can scrabble round the double apex right-hander at Luffield here. As long as you get in front, that's good enough. And then you can pick up speed through Luffield onto the straight. Trouble though for the Yugoslav, Milos Pavlovic, And that's a sad way to end a season, walking away from a car that won't work. Matt Davis still has a working car under him. We're with the Renault team driver. This is 4th place ahead of us. Narain Karthikeyan, superb in the wet. Let's see what Matt Davis can do against him in the dry. He's got a great toe running down into Stowe, and this is a very hard braking area from a very high speed. Remember where Michael Schumacher broke his legs in the Ferrari last year at the British Grand Prix? Well, Davis pulls off the move there. He's got to hold it together through the veil, very tight up to the apex there. That denies Karthikeyan a chance to get through. So the Renault cars now 2nd and 3rd. The Stewart cars, well, look at that. Pizzonia's passed Scheckter for 5th.
Milos, what happened?
I think the clutch has broken and then the engine just stopped. So maybe the engine, I'm not sure. Because maybe it was also the clutch, because at the beginning it was vibrating a lot and then just the engine cut off, so the end.
Bad luck.
Yeah, very bad luck. A real shame to finish the season with a car that won't go. Sato then, from Priaulx in 2nd place. Matt Davis 3rd in the 2nd of the Renault entries, riding with him now through Copse. Good apex. Somebody's off in the gravel. That'll be his teammate Andy Priaulx. So Priaulx now falling foul of Matt Davis. Davis has got a lot of speed. Priaulx will try and defend. Oh, into Beckett's, and now Davis is on the grass. Oh my goodness! And he's been hit. Davis came back across the track. Pizzonia's in the gravel there as well, and that was Karthikeyan that hit him. Ooh, very nasty incident there, and that could have been really injurious. It looks as though it hasn't been. Pizzonia right down the order. There's Scheckter with Kokoti behind him. They were right behind that incident. Looks as though they're all okay. Karthikeyan out of the car, so too is Matt Davis. Very glad to see that, very relieved indeed. That could have been very nasty. See it again. Now Priaulx coming back on, much slower, but still with the control of the road. He's got the inside line here, should really have let Davis through. Davis misses his braking point, has to go across the dirt. Ooh, yeah, that was so close. And there you see Pizzonia going into the gravel as well in avoidance of that. But Karthikeyan, I bet he couldn't believe what he was seeing as Davis came off the mud and back onto the road in front of him. Now further up the field, this is at Luffield. Warren Carway on the outside. Gary Paffett's gone down the inside. This is the battle for 13th. Carway's not having any of it though. Paffett got the inside line, but a little too late to really chop across his nose. And this is going to be a drag race all the way down to Copse. Warren Carway's got the line, holds on in front of the scholarship class champion. And Amanda is down in the Stewart pit.
Narain, hugely bad luck. What happened?
Well, I think first of all Priaulx ran wide at Copse, and then he tried to block Matthew, who was behind him, and then into Beckett, and then Matthew was on the grass, and then when I came close, he hit me, you know. So one of those accidents.
Stowe corner, Gary Paffett down the inside of Warren Carway, nice and early this time under braking, takes 13th, and that's Katsumata trying to go around the outside. Katsumata on the dirt, he'll lose the place there to Torshuya Chavanen. So the Japanese goes down one, the Briton goes up one, the Irishman goes down one, and the Thai goes up one in that little shuffle. 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th. Battle here for 5th place. Wesley Barber ahead of this man, Ben Collins, in 6th. Then Gianmaria Bruni, 7th. Michael Bentwood in 8th place. And Barber is the teammate of the champion. He's in the 2nd Manor Motorsport car. And the best placed of those, of course, because Pizzonia, having avoided that accident, is now well down the order. There's Barber. Ben Collins looking to size him up. Gianmaria Bruni trying to keep on the tail of them as they get onto the hangar straight as well. This is the fastest piece of the Silverstone circuit. And at the braking area, these guys are doing upwards of 165 miles an hour. Ben Collins right in the toe, dives down the inside, a classic Stowe manoeuvre, takes the place away. Now Amanda's down in the pits, and she's caught up with Matt Davis.
I was going so much faster him that I thought I'd better try and go past, and as we got to Beckett's, I don't think he braked or anything, but he didn't really leave me anywhere to go, and I had to swerve to avoid him. Went off on the grass, which was wet, and as I came back on, got hit quite hard by poor Narain. So bad day, bad year. That's it.
Oh, and somebody else having a bad day. That's Andrew Kokoti. The Scott's gone off. That is the end of the lap at Luffield. He was in 4th place. That could have been his best result of the year. Well, now here, Wesley Barber under pressure from Gianmaria Bruni and Michael Bentwood. And as they come through the veil, Ben Collins goes through ahead, down into the slow left-hander. Bruni got a good run there, and so Wesley Barber drops another spot. Well, that's experience counting there of the Grand Prix circuit, and possibly just of these Formula 3 cars and what they really will do at the limit. Michael Bentwood now, look, towing right up behind. There's the three of them together. Bruni, Barber, Bentwood fanning out in team formation almost, like the Red Arrows. And talking of teams, this is the Prema Techni team. There's boss Chris Weller. Now, they've lost Renault's backing for next year. They'll continue. So will Stewart, but they won't be called Stewart. They'll be the Jaguar Junior team. So that was Bruce Jenkins, the team boss there, following his drivers. And here is Stewart's, well, shining star this season, the man who was runner-up in the championship, or is runner-up in the championship, Tomas Scheckter. And he stays with the Stewart family, moving on as Jaguar's test driver. Meanwhile, closer to hand, Andy Priaulx sliding in front of him as Scheckter himself slides. You can see just how hard they're both pushing their respective cars. This is Mark Mail, scholarship class runner at Beckett's. Oh, too fast in, hands off the wheel. He knows he's going in backwards, so he gets his thumbs out of the spokes so as not to get them broken. Takuma Sato leading the race by 11 seconds. What a dominant performance he's putting in here, in amongst the scholarship class runners and miles away from the rest of the field. Well, this young man, he said he may well stay in the British Formula 3 Championship next year. You've got to start putting money on him now while the odds are quite reasonable, because he will certainly start 2001 as a real championship front runner. Now, Tomas Scheckter chasing Andy Priaulx. This is for a runner-up spot in the race. Second and third up for grabs. And Takuma Sato is about to clinch his 4th win of the year. The checkered flag waves for the Japanese. The team are delighted. Second place for Andy Priaulx, his best result of the year. He's had a couple of third-place podium finishes. There's team boss Trevor Carlin, Takuma Sato's boss, being congratulated once more. So there's the top 3, Collins, Bruni, Barber next up. And in the scholarship class, no surprises, Gary Paffett wins comfortably. Christian Colombo second from Nielsen, Walker, Westwood and Katsumata.
Well, start was very nervous because of everybody new tire, very grip, so a bit careful to clutch me, but after that it was really easy because of so much grip.
And so you enjoyed it?
Really enjoyed it.
Well, Sato was very, very fast, and I had a good start, but he just drove past me on the start and just pulled away, drove a really good race.
2 points for 9th place gave Pizzonia around 200. Sato sealed third as Bentwood held off Collins in 7th place to finish as top Briton. In the scholarship class, Gary Paffett finished on 268, more than twice the score of Christian Colombo, the series runner-up.
So, congratulations to Takuma Sato for winning the last round of the Formula 3 Championship. Now, Mike, we know that Pizzonia and Scheckter have both got a foothold in Formula 1. What do you think of Sato's performance, though? Do you think he could be the next Japanese Formula 1 driver to make a mark?
Yes, I think so. He's had a great season, a little bit inconsistent, but a dominating performance today. Yeah, I think he's probably going to do very, very well.
Thanks, Mike. Well, that's it from us. Thoughts now turn to next year, and it looks like it's going to be good. There's new circuits and 2 races planned for each weekend. We're also going to be back in F3 on 4, so join us then.
Pedal-powered action comes to full next Saturday at 11. World-class riders compete in Mountain Bike Britain. And next up this morning, we're back at Silverstone for the final round of the British GT Championships.